Hey everyone, it's Krista here with Outgrowing, and today we are talking about planning our seed planting calendar, you guys. So this is always a pretty fun thing to do, but some of you may have already started your calendars because you may have wanted to start seeds earlier than the new year, which is totally fine. But for me, I didn't want to start. I'm not starting anything yet. So this is the perfect time. New Year's Day. Why not get our planting calendar on? So I'm going to tell you guys how I do this. Oh, I should have been more prepared by opening this up. Okay, you guys, so I've got my calendar. I like to get it fairly big so that I can write like notes and things like that on it, so that, so I can keep track of what's happening with what I plant. This is big time. So I picked up this calendar at Indigo, and this is kind of cool to have this just for quick reference. That was on the back side. I'm going to keep that. I got these at Indigo. Chapters, they used to be called. Kohl's as well. Anyways, they had 30% off on their calendars, so I picked this up there. Okay, so what I do is I don't have all my seeds yet because I mentioned in my last video, and I'm not sure if you've watched it or not, but I'm going to make some changes to the garden plans for 2025. I'm going to make some changes to my subscription. I'm going to be making some changes all around, some really exciting ones, but I wanted to hold off on getting seeds or ordering more seeds till I saw the new catalogs and stuff like that, and just saw what was coming out for 2025. There are a few things that I know that I want. There's like 5 things on my list. I think I have it actually in my bucket of seeds, which is right here. These are my flower seeds only. I've got so many seeds, you guys. It is actually quite insane. I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages of straight flowers, you guys. It's crazy. So I don't need a ton. And that is what I know. But what I do want to get, where's my little list? I started a teeny little list. I need to get Feverfew. I think I want to get Clarkia. Well, what the heck? Must have wrote it down somewhere else. It doesn't matter. I have a list somewhere else, a very small list of seeds that I want to get. So how I work this is I always look up my last frost date, which I know that my last frost date at the ranch where I plant the flowers, the majority of them is between May 21st and May 31st. And here where I live at the beach, our last frost date would probably be, I'm going to say that same kind of window almost, but maybe like May 15th to May 25th, something like that. But anyway, so that's approximately when we'll get our last frost. So I always start by putting that in my calendar. So we are going to go to May. These are lovely. I should have a pencil instead of a pen. Okay, here we are. I have a pencil. That's better to work with a pencil because you can erase stuff and add stuff in. But we're going to go with our final frost date being May 21st. So I'm going to go final frost. Okay. I may add a little highlighter on that later so that we always know where that is. And so then I work backwards from here. So just for example, we have our Rudbeckia, and I know Rudbeckia takes a while. You got to start this stuff quite early. So on the back of your seed package, they should tell you all the things you need to know. This might be a fail on this very first one. Oh yeah, perfect. It says start indoors in sterilized seeding media 9 to 12 weeks before transplanting outdoors. After germination, it can be grown at 18 or 10 to 18 degrees Celsius. And so it says, for optimum plant growth, fertilize regularly, pinch top to promote growth and branching. Like, seed packages tell you lots of amazing information. Johnny's Seeds on their website, it has an insane amount of information too. But even if you just Google like Rudbeckia, Black-Eyed Susan, like planting information, surely you're going to get all the planting information. So I have a few different varieties here. There's this one is the Black-Eyed Susan. That's the perennial. I think these are all quite the same. Then I have, same one. Then I have some Indian summer seeds, and these are, I believe these ones are annual. Okay, and these ones say to start 5 to 7 weeks before your last frost date. I can see that on there. So these are different than the perennial. Oh gosh, me taping all these things down, now it's gonna wreak havoc on what I can and can't read. Okay, give me a sec here, you guys. Wow. I was so excited to do this video and I'm so not prepared. That's how I like to roll. Oh, see? I ripped off some of the instructions. I might end up going on to Johnny's anyways to get the information. Okay. Da-da-da-da-da-da. 5 to 7 weeks. Okay. This one doesn't say. So what the hell? Transplant. Oh, seven. Yeah. Okay. The Indian summer are definitely, they're a tender perennial, but best grown as an annual. Tender perennial in zones 9 to 10. Well, we are zone 3, so that does not apply to us. So let's start with this one, the Indian summer. So we're not going to plant anything else outside until May 21st, for sure. And you know what? Even at that, we may wait a couple weeks, but we're going to work backwards from the 21st of May. So let's start them. Now, my Rudbeckias that I have grown have all grown insane, and they've grown so well. So I'm going to start them only 5 weeks before the final frost. So I'm going to go backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's going to take us to April 16th. So it can really be anywhere between April 2nd and April 16th because it says 5 to 7 weeks out. But because I know that they've grown really well for me in the few years that I've started them indoors, I'm going to start them only 5 weeks because they're fairly hardy plants. You can direct seed them. So I'm going to just start them 5 weeks out. So plant, we're going to put in here Rudbeckia, Indian summer. Now you're going to want to write small depending on how much stuff you're going to start. Now I don't start everything. That's the thing. I don't start everything. I start the things that need to be started. There's lots of things that can be direct seeded. These can be direct seeded. I direct seeded them last year, these Indian summers, and they were really late to come. So I am going to start the last of these seeds. I'm going to start these ones in advance because I want them to be ready. So for earlier on in the season. So not everything needs to be started. So then we have these, the Rudbeckia, the Black-Eyed Susans, and those ones 9 to 12 weeks. So we're going to go to 9 weeks out. So we're going to go, so we're at 5 weeks here, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I should actually be, yeah, doesn't matter. This is fine. So 9 weeks for the Rudbeckia is then March 19th. So You can do little short things if you're going to know what they are, like Rudbeckia, BES, Black-Eyed Susan. Okay, great. So we've got those penciled into our calendar so far. Oh, interesting. This one, so this is Indian Summer from a different place. And it says start in March for summer flowers or by May for fall flowers. That's interesting. Little different information there. So maybe we'll plant some of those here too. We'll just put that there. Okay. So let's carry on. So lots of stuff I choose to, I don't start a lot because I don't have a lot of space to start them, but I choose to plant a lot direct seeding because I find the plants to be way hardier, way stronger, way better off. But you have to plant them at the right time. You have to, you know, you have to water them properly. Like they have to germinate properly. And I did have a little bit of some poor germination with my flowers, as I mentioned in my video earlier. Okay, zinnias. Zinnias are an amazing plant to plant directly out. I planted my Benary's Giant mix 2 times last year. The very first time I planted it, this is talked about in my videos, my best and worst videos of flowers. But I planted them out direct seeded, and the first batch that I direct seeded too early on because they don't like the cool weather. They're a hot season flower. Didn't grow as good as the second one, but I direct seeded them. Those plants were gorgeous. So I am getting, I will start some seed. I will start some of these. I'm just not too sure. I have a bunch of seeds coming from this lady I grew that owns the greenhouse. I'm going to do a YouTube video with her, I think, as well. I got to talk to her about that. I thought about doing it last year, and then it was such a late thought that it didn't work out. But it was really queenie. So I have 1 package of the Benary's Giant. Let's just say we'll start some of those indoors. But honestly, I've started some indoors, and you really don't need to. But let's just, for the sake of this video, say we're going to do that. So again, we look on, and get the information off the back of the seed pack. These ones only need to be started 4 to 6 weeks out. So again, we can do it on the 5 weeks out. Here, same thing, on the 16th of April. And we will go zinnia. Okay, I will give you guys a little prelude to something that's going to be changing, and it'll allow me to plant more outdoors rather than starting. But my subscriptions are going to be changing, and so that's going to allow me to just be able to grow more from seed direct sowing out in the garden. And so in the past, my subscriptions have started as early as the flowers are ready. And then they've been bi-weekly, and they run for like a course. They're 5 weeks, and then they run for 10 weeks because they're bi-weekly. So I'm always in a hurry to get them started because I want to finish them before our last frost date. Now our last frost date is mid to late September out at the ranch. So we've had frost then. I mean, we've had really gorgeous Septembers too, but you have to err on the side of caution. So cramming in those 5 bouquets can be a bit challenging. So I am switching up the subscription, which I'm not going to tell you exactly what I'm going to do, but I'm switching it up. So I don't need to put so much pressure on myself to have all these blooms ready for early July. I want to have blooms ready because if there's anybody that wants me to do weddings like I did last year, I want to be able to accommodate them. So I will be planning a little bit around that, but I have nothing signed up so far. The weddings that I did last year were quite, like, not last minute, but they were, they didn't give me like a whole year's worth of notice. So, and I'm not advertising. Well, we're going to talk about this in the next video to come. We're going to talk about the plans for the garden and all that stuff. So I don't want to give any more away. Let's get back to what we're doing. Anyway, so I've got my zinnias, and so that's where I'm starting. So do you guys get the idea of what's happening here? So to recap, we start by finding our frost date, knowing what zone we're in, all that good stuff. That's important to know too. So we are zone 3B here, but essentially zone 3. And then you got to go and get all the information off your seeds. For the most part, I know what needs to be started and what doesn't need to be started. There are just some things that just have to be. Like these asters. I have started them. Yeah, they're flowering time 12 to 15 weeks. I'm going to start these asters, but man, do I battle that asters yellow, or yeah, I think that's what it's called. I'm going to start these asters because I grew them the very one year and they grew beautifully. And then the last 2 years, I've been struggling a bit with them. So I'm going to start those inside too. Like you just kind of get to know, but yeah, you guys, that's what I'm going to be working on over the next little bit here, because I know there's going to be some things. So let's just have a look. Well, I don't think these need to be started super in advance, because you can direct seed these too. And that might be, I might direct sow some of them and might start some of them. Yeah, 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost. So like nothing crazy. That's not too wild for those, but status has to be started pretty decently early as well. Let's see on that one. Well, 5 to 6 weeks. Okay, that one's not so crazy. I just want to find one that's like needs to be started pretty early on. Now, like Lisianthus, those are ones that if I were to start them by seed, I would already have those things started, to be totally honest. Snapdragons, 8 to 10 weeks. So, you know, we're at the 9-week mark here. So we'd want to start snaps in and around the, 9th, the 2nd or the 9th of April. So we can put snaps on there. Because those definitely need to be started. I've had volunteer ones come up from year to year, which is fine if you plant them out, or if they're volunteer from seed that has fallen. But I don't recommend that. Like, yeah, it says on the package, direct seeding is not recommended. Some people say snaps can be finicky. Knock on wood, I've not had troubles with them, growing them yet. So, okay, eucalyptus. Do I even have any more seed? These might be empty. No, there's some seed in there. Oh yeah. Eucalyptus. Now this stuff needs to be started. Yeah, 10 to 12 weeks. I would even be giving this. I would even give this like 12 to 14 weeks. So now we're getting up there. So 10, 11. No, what were we at? That was only 5, right? April, yeah, 5. Sorry, 5. Ooh, snaps is in the wrong spot. See? Ooh. That's a bad eraser. See, I already mixed up one, you guys. Okay. Snaps needs to be moved. Okay, so that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So snaps on the 12th. And then 11, 12, 13. I'm going to go 14 weeks. So that's February. So that's probably going to be my earliest starting one. Is that eucalyptus. I had a heck of a time growing it last year. My first year I grew pretty good. And then last year, I don't think I started it early enough, so I'm going to start it pretty early. So yeah, eucalyptus definitely needs to be started early. Calendula, plant that out. It's like a weed. I'm not going to use it as a cut flower, but oh no. Look at this. All the seeds have fallen out. Which one are they coming out of? Hard to say. I'm going to guess this one. Yep. That'll be a surprise. But, okay, larkspur. These are, these ones can be direct sown. I've done that before. And then, no. Actually, they all say direct seed, so that's cool. So never mind on that. And I do take the opportunity to direct seed as much as I can, as I've said. So larkspur, that's funny. The seeds have fallen out. Good times. Okay, this is foxglove. And those need to be started 10 to 12 weeks out. So I'm going to start these things the same time I'm going to start my eucalyptus. It's going to be a bit early, but better that than being too late. So, and the foxglove is a perennial, and I've been growing them. I just want to get rid of these seed. And I don't even know if these pelleted seeds will really work anymore because they're a little bit old. But I just want to grow them and plant them out in my garden here because I'm starting to have a perennial garden here at my house. It used to be a vegetable garden, and then I just planted wildflower seeds, and then it just looked like hell. So last year I ordered a ton of perennials and I planted them out. So I've got all kinds of stuff, praying it all comes up this year. I've got all kinds of stuff like that planted. So I've just been planting perennials out there. So those I'll just plant out there. Amaranth, paper daisies, those can be planted out. Oh, I wonder if paper daisies should be started, maybe. No, it says they should be. That is interesting. They should be sown 6 to 8 weeks out. That's probably why I did have decent germination, but not as good as I was thinking. So I'll have to look those up. But okay, 6 to 8 weeks out, those need to be started. I'd like to grow some paper daisies this summer because I think they're pretty. So I will mark that down. I'll probably go with the 6 week mark on those ones. So again, we work back from our frost date, but we already know that our Indian summer Rudbeckia are planted on the 5 week, and our zinnias, and so we can just go ahead here and put paper daisy. Okay. Anyhow, you guys, I think you have the gist of what is going on here. Scabiosa, those need to be started indoors. I do believe I started those last year. Yeah, 4 to 6 weeks, not like a ton of time. Anyways, I'll get more into detail about all this stuff, as I won't do it all on camera. I just wanted to get on here and show you guys how I start planning my seeding calendar for the year. So go get yourself a calendar like this. This is amazing. And you can even I love that there's this note section on the side, because then it can be like, okay, if the eucalyptus is doing really well, I can just put little notes on it. I still have the one from last summer hanging up at the farm. It's everything ended at August. It's sitting there on August still. I'm like, oh my God, that's kind of funny. But you can keep all your notes and then keep those calendars from year to year, you guys. They are superb for information. And then again, so in here, I do keep, I have records of all the, where I planted my vegetables the last few years too. So this is and flowers. This is my vegetable garden, and this is my flower garden from last year. So I have that. So when I'm planning and mapping out what I'm going to plant, I know it's kind of old school. It's on paper. But you know what? Sometimes you just get out there and you're like, okay, you're not going to have your computer out in the garden. This is what you're going to have. So I'm just I love the whole pen and paper thing. I am oh, yes, that is one thing I'm going to get back into, having my agenda. I haven't used one on paper for a long time, but I've got so many things going on and my brain is just so full of stuff that I've been forgetful. So I'm starting to get back into using that because I don't want to be forgetful. Anyways, you guys, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this little video. It's short and it's sweet, and we're just talking about getting things going, because if you guys want to get organized for planting, you guys are going to want to get on this right now if you haven't already, because then you will know what your plans are. And then if you haven't ordered your seed, now you might want to start looking at ordering your seed, because if there's certain things that you want to grow and they need to be started, you want to get them ordered before they need to be started. Otherwise, you're going to miss the boat. I've done that before. And that's why some things haven't been planted. I'm sure that happened to me last year with a couple things. I don't know off the top of my head right now, but I think that kind of happened where it was like, oh, I'm going to start this. And it was like, oh, dang, those need to be started like a month ago. And so I just didn't grow them. So anyways, you guys, that's going to do for me on getting our calendar going for planting season. I do the same thing with vegetables. I haven't even ventured into that yet because that is a whole other ballgame, but I need to start planning all that like right now. So you guys, that's going to do it for me and the seed calendar episode for right now. If you have any comments or questions, definitely drop them in the question or the comment section. I would love to help you out the best that I can. I don't know everything, but if there's anything I can give you advice on or I can help you out with, I would love to do that for you guys. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos, because this is the boring part of the season. We're not doing anything super cool and exciting right now, but in just a few short months, it's going to be spring and we're going to be ramping up, and you guys do not want to be missing out on any of the garden fun, because that's where all the magic happens. So be sure to hit like and subscribe, and we'll check you guys next time. Happy New Year, by the way, and all the best to you in 2025. So check you guys next time. Thanks for watching.